Hello, everyone. We're back. It's the eye test, innit? Hello, good evening, everyone, and good evening, OMONDI Juma. How are you?
Great to be back here, man. And yeah, this is a big game this weekend, and it's the reunion as well. We've come together just to. I asked you the other day. I said, "Bruv, how are we going to beat Man City?" Because that's the question that everyone is asking. And I'm kind of confident. I think we can do something, but I wanted to bump heads with you and do a show with you just to discuss how we beat Manchester United. Because a lot of people might say, "Yeah, with courage, with enthusiasm, we've got to go put it to them." But there's got to be some method to the way we beat this giant of a team. They are monsters right now, aren't they? And we beat them already this season. So I expect us to sort of go into detail how we beat them before, what we can sort of apply again, how they've improved since then. There's so many things to talk about regarding this game. And I think it's a massive game. When you look at it, it's the first derby in a cup final that we've ever had. And especially when you look at it, it's like they're up there. We need to catch them. It's flipped on its head. And if we do win, it's going to be massive because then there could be announcement about a new owner as well to add to that. So there's so much to look forward to this week. And I think we need to sort of really push it with this show and with all the Man United agenda rights as well out there. So big up everyone watching.
Yeah, I completely agree, except for the excitement about the new owners. I'm dead to it. I'm on day. I just want football matches. I don't care about boardrooms at the moment. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to Rebel, who did a thumbnail for me today, and he's put the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings in the thumbnail, which I'm extremely happy with.
A request? Was that a request of yours?
No, that was Rebel going off book. That's absolutely great. He's put a little bathtub in there as well.
We start to get to know you at bath time now. We've got such good relationship these days. So we can read you like a book. We know exactly what's going to please you. Anything to do with, not Game of Thrones. What do you call it? What's your show again?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings and Love Island.
A show. Yeah, Love Island. Like Game of Thrones is quite good, but it ended very poorly, which I'm hoping United don't do with this season. So first of all, with all the people watching, who's confident? I'm not confident, but I will be by the weekend. I always start off nervous and then get a bit more delusional as it goes along. But are you confident on Monday?
Yeah, I'm confident. I've got MUFC Brummy's Red in the house as well. He's saying hi, guys. I'd like to know how he feels about it. And we've got Vincent as well. Vincent's always confident. First derby in the FA Cup final, he's saying. The reason I'm confident, I think, because the manager's going to be in a training field day in, day out. And like you, he goes into a lot of detail into sort of the fine details as to how we can beat this team. And he will feel really proud at the end of it if we deliver with what he's got in plan. And we can speculate through today's show to find out what the manager's got in plan to beat City. And it'd be nice. What got me, I mean, when we were doing shows earlier in the year and sort of breaking it down, it really inspired me, Bath Time. As you know, with my Sunday team, it inspired them as well. I was sort
Big
of...
up Woodlands.
Yeah, big up Woodlands FC. I was inspired with that. It gave me more motivation and also made me give new eyes looking at the game. So I think after doing this show, I'm going to be really excited by the end of this show, thinking, come on, bring on City, bring on this game, and let's see what we can put out there. So I think we can do something, but I'll be even more confident. Ask me again after this show.
Okay. Well, I've got a plan for City. Like I've come up today with a plan of how to beat City. It's quite detailed and it's quite technical, but I can tell you straight off who wants to be a manager, because last night we had a show ready to go at 10 o'clock and at 9:30 information came through that Martial was injured. And it meant we had to completely reschedule. We had to completely redo everything because Martial was the key part of how we were gonna beat City. Very similar to the 45 minutes that he played at Old Trafford, which was genuinely some of the best defensive work I've ever seen from a forward. Certainly a United player since Danny Welbeck, I think, against Real Madrid many years ago.
Oh, wow.
But we're also going to have to do some technical stuff about what City want to do to us first, right? Now, I think City are going to spring a surprise selection in the final, and I think it's between one of two players. I think that David Silva might start. Sorry, not David Silva, Bernardo Silva.
Yep.
He could start at left back.
Right.
But the one I'm really expecting is I think that Stones is going to start in the centre of their defence as opposed to in their midfield. And I'll come on to that later.
Saying something like that, all right, I want to know why during the show, why you feel that. Because, we see Pep, he's revolutionised the side this season. And he's sort of put Nathan Ake at left back or left centre back of a three. And obviously, people know Stones have been playing in the midfield when they've had the ball. Maybe sort of dropping off a little bit when they haven't got the ball, which is rare. They don't have the ball. They seem to have the ball like 70% of the time anyway. So, I'd be interested to know why you'd feel that they would revert to those sort of positions. Bernardo Silva, left back. I mean, you used to say Pogba could play right back, but I can understand your thinking these days. But I'd love to know more about that.
One of my few predictions that ended up working out quite well. That one about the change of right backs in football. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to go through some. We're going to go through some quick concepts. Don't worry, it's nothing that no one has experienced before, and we're going to talk about Manchester City. So I've got to press this button. I'm just going to share my entire screen. Sorry about this if this looks unprofessional. Okay, right. This is our first graph, and you can see all of this, Omondi, can't you?
Just got a blank screen at the moment.
Really?
Oh, hold on. Something's changing. Can't see your tactics board.
No. It should just be the graphs of where goals are scored from.
No. Just got the agenda screen.
Okay,
up.
let me just try this one more time, and then we will improvise.
While you're trying out, like you said, I think it must. If Ten Hag had a plan based around Martial, that's got to be gutting, isn't it?
Is that working now?
Yeah, he's up now. This wonderful graph you presented yourself in Rich Sports.
Yeah. Shout out to Rich Sports.
Yeah.
Okay, so this here, right, is why United have to be concerned with protecting the centre of the pitch. Very, very quickly, all goals are pretty much scored in this area here, right, which is the penalty box. Hardly a surprise. The area in front of it, which, do you remember what number it is, Omondi?
I think we were saying something else. I think it's zone 14, is it now?
Yeah, it's zone 14. I used to think it was zone 16.
I know.
But basically, this part of the pitch here, just in front of the penalty area, is where most goals come from, right? So this is the most dangerous area of the pitch to allow the opposition to have space and time in. All right, this is crucial to what City are going to try to do to us. Okay, so I want everyone just to know that. And these graphs here mean that a cross, you're going to score from like less than 15% of the crosses that go into the box. So, if you've got to put a lot of you've got to put roughly 9 to 10 crosses into the box to score, but you only have to put like 4 cutbacks in or three through balls. So through balls and cutbacks are what City are going to be trying to do to us, and what we don't want to give them any chances, but if we are going to give them chances, we're much happier giving them crosses. All right, that's essentially all that this graph means. And now here, I have picked the 5 players that I think everyone is like 100% on will play tomorrow, which is Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro, Shaw, Varane, and David De Gea.
Yep.
Right, they have to start. I'm just going to stop sharing here because I want to know who you are going to pick, who you think's going to play Omondi, and also if our viewers could get their 11 in, That would be useful.
Yeah, I'd like to hear, because this is we know Martial's out, that's for sure. Luke Shaw, 100% plays.
Yeah.
Lindelof, I think 100% plays.
Okay.
I think that, and Varane next to him. Right back's a tough one because Delo's just signed a new contract, which gives him boost of confidence. But I think at right back, I'll come back to that one. De Gea definitely starts.
Mm-hmm.
Casemiro starts, definitely. Bruno definitely starts. I think Sancho definitely starts. Anthony's out. And Rashford definitely starts. Beyond
Anthony's
that,
not definitely out.
Anthony's not definitely out, no?
No, I've had a theory that Anthony faked his injury again when he got one. It's just you don't do that. Like I don't know. There was something that didn't ring right about that injury that he got, and he's been pictured in a cup final suit. He hasn't been ruled out for the match, but Anthony might not be out. But I noticed that you don't have Ericsson or Fred like as definites.
No, because we've done shows on this before, so I think that's a topical debate. Anthony will play, says my brother Zico. Jeff's saying here, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Shaw, and Malacia. Okay,
Right.
so maybe playing Shaw in centre back. Okay, that's interesting.
I've got to say to Vincent here that like maybe he can't remember this, but not only was Malacia absolutely manhandled at the weekend, he got eaten alive by Foden at the Etihad.
Yeah.
Certainly for a back place goal. I'd be very surprised if Malacia is picked unless there's some sort of injury to Shaw.
Okay.
All right. So whilst people are sort of getting their teams in, don't worry, I'm not going to like sort of tell everyone that their team is wrong. It's just that's my opinion, Jeff. I don't think that. I think Malacia's he just hasn't done well in the big games, and he's not very good at 1v1 defending. So I don't think he plays. But you never know. You never know with Ten Hag.
Yeah, you just don't.
But this is what we do know actually with Ten Hag before we start. I don't think like, and I'm willing for people to have a different opinion on this. I think that the way the game will go is that we will start fast with a press, and this because we want to set the tone and things, but we won't continue with the press. We will use a 1-4-1-4 mid block. Right, which is just that, or a 4-4-2 mid block. Like we'll go through it quickly and show everyone how it works. But I think we'll start with that. But Guardiola teams, this isn't a narrative that you get very often in England. But like in Spain, everyone knows a Guardiola team in a final isn't very good for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Like it's something that consistently happens. If you think back to when we played them at Wembley, we were all over them in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And that was put down to the fact that Guardiola showed a montage to the Gladiator music of all of his players, you know, like their YouTube highlights, and they all got too worked up. And it took them 10 minutes to calm down and remember sort of how to play. And it's been a consistent with Guardiola teams is that they start finals extremely poorly. So I suspect United will use a press and go hard for 5 to 10 minutes. Because it's a derby as well. Everyone wants to, you know, win the physical duels. But apart from that, I'm not really expecting anything remotely near pressing in this match. Amondo? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about this them starting slowly.
It's
but
true.
I do think it's important we go out there and press early. And then obviously you can't maintain that. But I think it's a good idea to start that and then drop off a little bit after, say, 10 minutes. Because you can't maintain, especially at Wembley, depending on what the weather's like as well. I think you've got to be able to manage the game. I think it's for players know they're going to be. It's a hard task to beat City. They know they have to stick with their game plan and mentally be focused and concentrated and listen to instruction throughout the whole game. So I think it's going to be taxing on the brain, taxing mentally for all the players and for the management as well to sort of contain this side, because there'll be times where we won't be seeing the ball. So we have to have a game plan, that's for sure, and that's why we're here.
All right, let's talk about City's game plan first. So share screen, entire screen. Here we go. This is all working, isn't it? Perfect.
Yep, you're up now. We've got a tactics board.
Okay. So this is City's game plan, right? You can see here that they're using a 3-2 rest defense, and this is new. Okay, well, it's not new as a concept, but it's new. It's new for City, whereas beforehand they would use a 3-2 rest defense where they would have had their fullbacks inverting with two centre backs behind. Right. So you sort of think Cancelo coming in. Cancelo's been shipped out, and what they have now is that this 3 here is normally John Stones, and this is Rodri.
Yep.
And then the 4, the 2, and the 5 is a combination. It's you know who it is. It's Ake, Diaz, Walker, Akanji. What he basically has is he has 3 incredibly physical centre backs that can all win 1v1 duels.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know why he does that now?
He mentioned that. I saw an interview by him saying previously he didn't have that. That was a weakness of his. So he's happy now with Akanji and they were talking about Nathan Ake, and that's why he said now these guys, Ake and Akanji, they can defend, as you just said, one-on-one situations and win duels and win like physical battles in and around the box. They can win that, and they're good on the ball as well. They can play the ball out. So that's from his own horse's mouth. He was talking about Nathan Ake, who I must take back. I'll take this back right now. You said early this season that he's performing outstanding. He's a great player. And I said, nah, he's not outstanding at anything. He's just average. He's been at Bournemouth. I don't think he's exceptional at anything. But I've been proven wrong. He's been brilliant this season.
Yeah, we all get stuff wrong. I've always really liked Nathan Ake. I know it sounds stupid, but just the way he defends, he looks like Maldini. I'm not saying he's as good as Maldini by any stretch. Do you know what I mean? The body shape. You
hear that, Zico, left-footed centre-back? Sorry, just shouting at my brother who's a left-footed centre-back.
Yeah, who, did he respond about the allegations that he wasn't giving himself enough of a run-up at corners?
I don't know if you heard that one. Maybe you missed out on that one, but I did accuse, Zico, if you're out there listening, I did accuse you of zonal mark. We talk about a lot of zonal marking in corners and what to do. We had corners the other day, and I did ask you to drop off a little bit, peel off, rather than standing in zone, so you can get a run up on people. Because a lot of time when you're marking people, you're all over them, you're grabbing them up and all that kind of thing. When really just stand back, and then attack the ball like that, rather than being on someone where you're static and you can't really jump or move. Thing. Oh, you did hear that one he's saying here, yeah. So you did hear it. So
nice,
good one.
All right. So the next thing that we know about City is this is what I call double width. Okay.
Double width? I haven't heard that expression before.
Yeah, it's not the correct. It's not actually the correct expression. I just call it double width, which means that you've got 2 players. So you've got 1 player in each of the wide areas, right? So that means that you're trying to stretch the pitch by having 2 players occupying wide. So let's say that this is Silva and that this is Grealish, and even though they're wide, because of the rest defence structure, the interior, which is this part of the pitch here, is protected by Walker and Ake, and then you have your 3 men protecting zone 14 in the centre. That means that you can stretch the pitch. And what they want to do is they want to be sort of this is beautiful, by the way. I love diagonal lines in football. Do you see that? Yeah. Lovely structure. So basically what they want to do is they want to take the ball to this side and eventually work a spring out here for Grealish or Foden or whoever is playing out here. So they're going to take us over here. They're going to try and move players around. Not that they're not going to pass the ball for no reason. When they pass the ball, they're using it to move players. And if you don't believe me, that's a quote from Guardiola. We do not pass to move the ball, we pass to move the opposition. The reason that you pass to move the opposition is because you're trying to exploit zone 14.
Yeah.
Right? Everything they do is about the centre of the pitch, trying to get access here. Now, they're also... I saw Vincent earlier. I'll quickly answer this before we do some comments. Where Vincent said, do we build a triangle around Haaland? Which I'm assuming he means like a box around Haaland.
Yeah.
This is the interesting thing, is that from build-up, what you will find is you will find this shape a lot of the time, where you want to make the pitch as wide as possible, because what sort of... but basically, the best defensive structures rely on being compact, but most importantly, being narrow.
Yeah.
Everything, pressing, counter-pressing, blocks, they all work best if it's narrow. And what City like to do is City like to split their pivots. Not their pivots, but their attacking midfielders, so the 8 and the 10. The 8 and the 10 will go really, really wide, and then Haaland will come through to receive the ball. And he's actually not very good at this. And I'm very interested about how Victor Lindelof handles this. Because if you cast your mind back a long time ago, do you remember that clip that did the rounds on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, where some bloke in the pub was like having a go at Harry Maguire, and he did that analysis that he got completely wrong
with his girlfriend?
Yeah, and it was so bad. It was so bad, but everyone loved it. The reason is right. Is that Haaland's going to come in like this, and he's not allowed to turn. Right, he's got to play the way the ball is facing.
Yeah.
Let me just remove that. Because if he turns, it's danger. If he doesn't turn, there's little danger. And one thing that we've seen a lot from our centre-backs this season, Martinez has done it, Varane has done it, but Lindelof is the one who does it the most, is Lindelof will chase any forward well into their half to stop them turning.
Right.
Like, he did it against... who did we play? Who did we beat the other day?
We beat Fulham, yeah.
Yeah, he did it again. He ended up just outside the box, their penalty area, by chasing someone up the pitch. I fully expect, Vincent, what we're going to do is we're going to basically get Haaland not being allowed to turn because he's not as technically good with his back to goal as he is running onto the ball. So I hope that answers your question. And we'll just have a little look at what people are saying now before we get on.
Yeah, so Vincent obviously put up again. He said, do you think we will put a triangle of players around Haaland? I think he's just trying to say to sort of stop him from playing. But that was just answered just now. So when we talk about players that would play, Jeff was saying De Gea, and he added De Gea, this is the defence that he put out, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, short centre-back with Malacia. My brother Zico, how you doing, Zeke? Great. I must say, I'm really proud of you, Zeke, the way you're playing football these days. On the ball, you really know what you're doing and sort of playing the ball out from the back. Brilliant. He's saying here, Anthony will play. And I'm really shocked by this because you said that as well by half time. I didn't know that. I thought he's out for the season. Vincent saying, yes, it's a Saturday. We don't mean that. It's just a little slip up there. Here's a team from Jeff. There you go. Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Shaw, but Malacia. Midfield, Casemiro, McTominay. Interesting, that one. I like that. Bruno, Sancho, Garnacho, and Rashford. Garnacho starts as well. And no Anthony, obviously. And my brother's saying here, Sancho, Rashford, and Anthony as a front three. So he thinks Anthony's going to start. Fred and Casemiro in the midfield. Fred maybe for the legs. And Bruno in midfield as well. Shaw, Varane, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka as the back four. And I want to say hi to Adil. He said he thinks Malacia should start. Do you want to let us know why you think he should start, Adil? The key is midfield, says HD Gamer. If we stop that, we stop everything. Good point. I do tend to agree with that. Midfield runs the park. And HD Gamer saying here, if we can take Haaland away from the penalty area, we're going to be fine. So there's a lot of selective comments there, some interesting ones as well.
Yeah, I understand what HD Gamer means about if we take Haaland away from the penalty area, but I think Haaland hasn't scored for 6 or 7 games now. and City have been imperious. Like they've done like Real Madrid 4-0 and all these sort of things. Like they're not just Haaland and De Bruyne. Like we've got a Gundogan, if he plays, which I think he will, is going to be a problem. Grealish is a nightmare. We could be facing Mahrez. We could be facing like they've got so many good players and they've got such a good system that it's not just Haaland that's a threat. But you're completely correct. If we just block the centre of the pitch, if we stop them getting access to zone 14, we've got a really good chance. So let me just look at my notes here. Okay, let's talk about a block, and then I'll show you my team, which obviously no one has picked my team.
I'm interested to see this.
There's a reason. For God's sake.
This is going to be interesting.
Okay, so here I've put us in a mid block, right? So in a mid block, there's a line of engagement, which is normally the halfway line, or a little bit in front, a little bit behind. I haven't set this out exactly right, but what you tend to have is you have a block of 4, you have your back 4, and you have a man in between the lines who is just looking to read the game, pick up on passes, etc., etc. This is normally done by Casemiro, and you have a number 9. So the first thing that we're looking to do in the mid block is not really let their pivots on the ball. So the pivots in this case, I think, are going to be Rodri and Gundogan.
No Stones.
No, I think that Stones. I'll tell you why. I think that Stones is going to be the 4. Think that
where's Diaz?
Diaz isn't playing.
Is that confirmed?
No, this is what I think.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah. Go on then. All right, let's hear this.
Okay. So, what we want, okay, is we want our 7 and our 11 to be the hardest working players in the mid block. The 8, the 10, and the 6. So this little triangle here, they can just be puddings. To be honest, all they need to do is sort of stay in shape and stay disciplined. But the 7 and the 11 have to get out, because the 9's job is to stop pivots getting on the ball.
Right.
So here, if the ball gets passed out to whoever it is, so let's say this is Kyle Walker, the 7's got to curve his run to stop the ball out to the winger.
Yep.
The 8's going to move across here. The 6 is going to step up to keep that block. And the 9 is going to get on the pivot to force the ball back to the 4. And then the 4 is going to play it out to the 3, let's say. The 11 goes out. The 9 stays across. Everyone has to shuffle back. You've seen a block before. But the key thing is that because we want the pitch narrow, we only want City to switch the ball in their half. Right?
Okay.
Because that gives us more time to get out.
Yep.
Now, the real problem that we have is that if the 2 gets the ball, put the 7 out here, so we'd be like this. That with the 11 just slightly back. If he gets it there, and then they bang it out over here, the 3 and the 11 have got to get out fast.
Yeah.
Like really fast. They've got to go as a pair. This isn't Scream. This isn't Nightmare on Elm Street. You don't go anywhere by yourself. You go in pairs. Okay?
Nice one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like that. Good one.
Yeah, that's what my coach in Chile said. It's not Scream. You don't go out by yourself. You go out in pairs. Okay. So this is essentially what United are going to try and do. Is we're just going to compress the pitch. We're going to let them play from left to right, then left, then right, and we're just going to be disciplined. Then we're going to use our rest offense. Okay. And this is all going to play into my team selection, which I'm going to show you, and hopefully everyone doesn't think it's crazy. But remember, I want the 7 and the 11 to be our hardest working players. So the rest offense is we go into like a standard low block, which is an approximation of this. But I want the 10 and the 9 out here. So that's a standard low block, everyone. Like, it doesn't look very pretty, but it's extremely effective. And they will basically sort of do the same sort of thing with their team pushed up in a situation like this. And eventually we're going to steal the ball, right?
Yeah.
So this is how transitions work. Where on a football pitch, you have these zones. Right? Here, zone 1 is the centre, zone 2 and 3 are interiors, and zones 4 and 5 are wide. Okay?
Yep.
When we pinch the ball, we want to have a minimum of 3 players in these zones, and hopefully 4. So this is what we would want on our break, is to be like this.
Okay.
Do you see the 7 and the 11?
Yep.
They're runners. Okay? That's what I'm looking for from these players, is I'm looking for runners. And 9 and 10 will obviously be Bruno and Rashford. All right? Any problems with that at all?
No, that's good.
Is anyone in the... I mean, I've done some concepts that we've talked about OMONDI for almost a year now. Is everyone in the comments happy with these concepts? If you're not, just let us know and we can do them a bit more in depth. But these are just basic football fundamentals.
I think it's good when you put up the because Barry Miller, he's starting his coaching course now, hasn't he? We done an interview with him the other day. He was talking about the Lions that the previous Doncaster coach was in. So it's a big thing right now, understanding for players what these roles are and what these zones are, and how important it is to sort of have the mechanics of the pitch in your head, so you know where you're supposed to be, rather than say get over there or whatever. So they might say get in zone 4, get in zone 3, or something like that. It's a lot of homework to be done by these players these days. A lot of mind taxing on the head, in the brain.
Yeah, but it gets you there in the end. It's just remembering some numbers. Like all these zones, I think they come from the radio back in like the 1920s when they were doing commentary. They used to say this guy's in zone 17, and at home everyone would have a little map of the football pitch.
Okay.
I think that's where it comes from.
A bit like what's that game we used to play? It's like ships.
Battleship.
Battleship. Yeah, it's a bit like that maybe.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can sink a lot of battleships tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Saturday. I keep saying tomorrow. I know it's driving Vincent wild.
Vincent's going to jump on that.
Yeah. Sorry, Vincent. All right. So I'm going to show you my team now, and I'm going to explain it because I don't think it's going to be anyone else's team. So let me get it up. This is my team for tomorrow. Sorry, Vincent. This is my team.
Woo!
Okay, so the thinking behind it is I have our 3 best passers in the central area.
Right.
Eriksen, Bruno, and Casemiro. So this is basically for the transitions. I have our 2 best runners, which are Fred and McTominay, in the wide areas. So their jobs are for switches. They have to get out in these areas, and for transitions, they have to get out in these areas. Other than that, all they have to do is defend in a block. I've picked Delo because I think everyone knows by now I'm not convinced by Wan-Bissaka at all. But I think that Delo is far better at getting out than Wan-Bissaka is. I think Wan-Bissaka's a daydreamer.
Yeah, good shout that.
And the other reason that I have Delo is my fifth man in counter-attacks. I think that on Saturday, you are going to see a big chance for either Shaw or Delo, because I think that when we transition, one of these players is going to be the late arriver. And I think it's going to be Delo.
Okay.
So this is my team. There's a little bit.
A lot of
Sorry?
people would say it doesn't. It's maybe too negative, or it doesn't give us enough width or quality in the wide areas when we got Fred and McTominay. But I get it. There's a game plan here.
Like McTominay can cover here, and Delo can go out.
Yeah.
Like Fred, I'm not so sure he can cover here, and Shaw can go out. But Casemiro can cover here, and Fred can get out. Fred's got a lot of energy, so he's good. He's good at getting up and down. Casemiro needs runners. We all know this.
Yeah.
If Casemiro goes forward, which he likes to, Fred and McTominay can come back and cover the centre of the pitch because we're protecting it. If Bruno goes off, we've still got Fred, Casemiro, and McTominay.
And also, as well, would you consider? I mean, Bruno sometimes played right on the right of midfield. Could he swap with McTominay?
He could, and he might very well do, because you're right. I thought about this for quite a long time, because McTominay is our best player in the block by a country mile, and he organises the block better than anyone else. So you want him central. Bruno also has the energy to get out into these areas. So, but one thing, right? When you're a pivot and you are defending against cutbacks, this is what happens. So let's have 8 and 6 as our pivots. One of your pivots, which is will go next to the centre back to make a back three. The other pivot, his job is to stop cutbacks into the lines. Yeah. Okay. Now, when Fred and McTominay play, like when McFred played, McTominay, this is actual real tactics here. Fred's too weak to be at the back post, so it was always McTominay. And Fred was defending cutbacks. Fred's not very good at defending cutbacks. Eriksen isn't very good at defending cutbacks. Yeah. I've never seen Bruno defend a cutback. McTominay is very good at defending cutbacks, or at least McTominay is someone who's aware that that is his responsibility. And when we got done 6-3 at the Etihad, all of Man City's game plan was about swapping McTominay and Delo around. And it was Eriksen, who was playing as the number 10, who let Foden go several times for their cutbacks. So when we go back here, the reason that I have McTominay here is I think that if Grealish gets the ball out here, McTominay can double up, but he can get there quicker. Bruno can then come in, and McTominay can cover for the cutbacks. But I think that McTominay would be better at defending this space than Bruno would be, which is why I've got him here. Now, Anthony could be a possibility there.
Yeah. So what about going back to the double pivot with Eriksen and Casemiro? You wouldn't have them two as a midfield pairing?
Absolutely not.
No? Why wouldn't you go with that?
Because they're puddings. Like, Eriksen is a tractor, Casemiro is a pudding. Casemiro goes to ground too much, right? And he doesn't have mobility. He's got a lot of very, very good attributes, Casemiro, but he's not a natural defender to me, because your sworn duty in the midfield, above everything, is to protect the centre of the pitch.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't matter if the ball goes out here or the ball goes out here. As long as the ball isn't going through there,
Yep.
You've got a chance. Casemiro doesn't respect that enough.
Mm-hmm.
He makes it easy for teams because he slides in, he gets far too far forward up the pitch, and he leaves Eriksen with all the defensive responsibilities, and Eriksen just isn't able to cover. That's why we say we need legs around Casemiro, where Fred does it for him, but Fred's not good enough at duels.
Right. So what about this? Because remember we were talking about this box midfield of City. Do you have that other image where you got City and Man United on the tactics board?
Well,
So
you want me to make a box of City?
Just see with this single pivot how we would manage that, because it seems to be like.
So the box.
Oh no, box for City. Yeah, how we would manage the box for City.
Okay, so both teams up.
Yeah, both teams up.
Okay, so a box is pretty much what it sounds like, which is you can see the box here.
Yeah.
So that's the City box, and the way that the box works is that's
Casemiro.
So you have your double pivot around here. You'd have your centre backs in. So this would be a sort of a standard block, right? You could go like that, or let's put it like that because that's an easier block to imagine.
Yeah.
So you can see in the box we're 4 for 4.
So Eriksen would come back into a double pivot.
Yeah.
With Casemiro then.
Yeah. So he would do, but it's if I just take this away, that's how I had it. You can just do this. You can swap Fred. They can swap positions.
Okay.
And then you have Fred, Casemiro, and McTominay there. But the thing is, right, is it's actually not very difficult to defend in a block as long as it's organised. All you really need is hard work.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the reason that I like this here is that City want to move us about, and it doesn't really matter if McTominay is here, Bruno is here, Eriksen is here. Like, if we all get moved around, none of this really matters because we're always going to have two defensive players and two hard-working players in the right area. So, if they work us like this and they get us around here, Eriksen works hard and he will try and get out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's going to be slower, but he's still going to get out. And then we've got McTominay who Casemiro will go out to help. McTominay can come and cover. It's like, this is our best defensive formation, I think. I do think, though, that if Anthony is fit, he'll pick Anthony.
And that would mean what, Fred will be dropped?
No, I think it will be McTominay who gets dropped because McTominay's qualities are physical battling ones in terms of sort of like defending like high balls and stuff like that. I think that Ten Hag will trust Fred dealing with smaller, faster, more agile players.
Yeah.
But I think that's a mistake because when Fred man-marked De Bruyne at Old Trafford, De Bruyne assisted Grealish with a goal that Wan-Bissaka was daydreaming on, but Fred actually didn't have a great time against De Bruyne.
Right.
I feel that was sort of misreported, and I don't think he'll man mark. I don't know what he'll do. I just don't trust Ten Hag with like his sort of defensive setup since we've been 4-0 down twice and 7-0 at Liverpool. But
when we are doing transitions there, so you expect then Fred and McTominay to get into sort of, you want 4 players in the 5 zones, and you expect them to be up there. You think they got the energy in that to do that?
I think they're the only ones that do.
Yeah.
Like, Fred's not a bad goal scorer, right?
Yeah.
He's erratic, but he scores more goals than you think. And McTominay is a nightmare attacking the back post. And you can ask Rodri about that.
Yeah.
By having those players in those areas, so in the interior of the midfield, we've got our most mobile and like our hardest workers. That means that they can get out and get up quickly. It's just having runners there. And then you've got Casemiro, Bruno, and Eriksen, our best technical players, in the centre of the pitch. I think that is the best setup to beat City, is having runners, technical players, but most of all, hard work.
So can we? Sometimes you want to see evidence for this, and we beat them 2-1 after.
We did.
Yeah, and that was a great result. I didn't see that coming, but to beat obviously it was at Old Trafford. But what do you think was the fundamental reason we beat them that day? Were they just having a day off, or did we do something different?
Oh, well, the first half, it was all about Martial and Eriksen. Martial sat on Rodri like you wouldn't believe. He was absolutely fantastic. He only lasted 45 minutes, and I think it's cost him his season, to be honest. He has not been the same since that City game. I think he was rushed back too early. We'll see. But I feel that I don't think that was good management from Erik ten Hag to make a clearly unfit Martial play 45 minutes against City. But he did, and it worked. And what was happening was that Eriksen was the guy going out and applying pressure, and Fred and Casemiro were, alongside Bruno, were covering the centre, and they were splitting their pivots. And Fred was going with De Bruyne almost man to man, just following him around, and that meant that Bruno and Casemiro were the ones protecting the centre. They did it well, and they had a lot of help from Shaw when he came on, because Malacia started, and I think he got taken off at half time as well. I can't remember it, but we did it by protecting the centre of the pitch and using transitions. Like, if you remember, like, Rashford didn't touch the ball and Bruno scored, and it was the most shithouse goal you'll ever seen, because it might be within the laws of the game, but it's certainly not within the spirit of the game to be scoring goals like that. And then Garnacho did Ake. Garnacho put a poor cross in. It bounced off Akanji's face. It came to Garnacho. He turned Ake, stuck it across, and Rashford was there through the centre.
I think, it's coming back to me now that we've explained the goals. What about the issue of Pep? If he does set up like this and he does start slow, Pep's known for sort of bringing into in-game management and changing things halfway through the game to adapt to certain situations, you know? So, for example, you gave a great illustration of how Bernardo Silva was playing sort of as a high up in the box. He was coming deep eventually, as Haaland was, but he's coming deep to pick up the ball and then bringing the ball out from the back, you know, because we were trying to block Rodri in one game, for example. And that's how
correct. Yeah.
I think Pep's been brilliant in able to adapt like that. So do we have to sort of react to certain situations if Pep decides to mix it up, or would this be like two great minds going at it, saying, you know, covering every sort of possibility?
Well, yeah, it's now time for me to explain why I think John Stones will start at centre back, because I think that this is going to be Pep's answer to our block. And this is something that he has done as far back as Barcelona versus Inter, where if they have a spare man, right? If we're blocked like this, if we're blocking like this, we're moving left, we're moving right. I think what you're going to see is, you're going to see this player here that normally would be, that's left side, so it'd normally be Ake, but I think John Stones is the best at it, doing what I call the Tyrone Minks offence, which is, I don't know if you remember, Monday, but we were 2-0 up against Villa, and Tyrone Mings destroyed us.
Yeah.
He drove.
Yeah.
I think that this is what Pep's answer is going to be. Is I think that Stones, as their most capable technical centre back, is going to be the spare man, and he's going to come and try and make overloads with
Yeah.
Grealish or with Silva.
Yeah.
And that's why I want basically 5. How many have I picked? 6 central midfielders. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5.
5.
I've got 5. That's why I want 5 central midfielders, because they can all they can come out here, and then Bruno can come in if Casemiro, because we can't have 2v2s out here.
Mm-hmm.
We need a 3. We're still look, we're still protected here, and we still got the rest attack.
Yep.
So my concern, though, is that Anthony is going to play. And I don't like it. I think that Anthony works best as a defender the higher he is up the pitch. Not at Old Trafford, sorry, at the Etihad, the reason that Delo and McTominay were getting swapped was because Anthony wasn't working hard enough.
Yeah.
So I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see one of two things, which is either this player here, Silva, is going to be further back and is going to be playing the John Stones role of bringing it out of defence.
Yep, like he did before.
Or John Stones is going to be playing the PK role and is going to be trying to drive past this here is the first line of pressure.
Yeah.
In order to get it out, I think that he's just going to drive. And he's done this for City beforehand. And I don't know I don't know how we combat that without switching personnel. Because if we have Anthony and Garnacho, we're going to get murdered.
Yeah, especially Garnacho. I mean, his defensive play is not the best, I think. And there's a comment here from Zico. He's saying, half time, not a bad set up defensively, but the team don't have enough pace or quality to hit City on the break. We're not Stoke, we're Man United.
Right,
also, just a couple more.
Okay.
If Eric Ten Hag plays his formation, I'll be shocked. But, this is from Jeff, but he says, I would not complain, though, if he did. So, Zico doesn't like it, but Jeff wouldn't complain about it. If he sees it would be defensively sound. Jeff saying here, how would Bath counter Pep's changes if this is a setup? And another one here from Zico saying, Delo and Anthony don't work well defensively. Equals Wan-Bissaka and Anthony is a better for the balance. So,
all right. First of all, I'm going to dismiss that nonsense from Kahinde there. Delo and Anthony don't work well defensively.
Okay.
In the first part of the season, Wan-Bissaka hardly played. It was Delo every game, and it was Anthony pretty much every game. We played better football, and we were better defensively. After Christmas, Wan-Bissaka came in and played with Anthony, and we were far worse defensively, and we were far worse as a football team. So I reject that hypothesis strongly. Strongly, Kahinde.
What about playing?
Okay.
I mean, playing having quality high up the pitch. Once we get there, we'd end up with Fred on the flank, maybe expected to sort of dribble or take people on. I don't know. This is what I think he's trying to say.
All right. Yeah. No, I know what he's saying. Right. So the first thing is we're not Stoke. We're Man United. This is how Real Madrid, and this is how every team has to set up to beat City in a one-off game. All right. It's not. It's just what you have to do. I mean, if you go as far back as Inter versus Barcelona in 2007, something like that, 2008,
11,
mate. Jesus,
2011.
time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Someone will know in the comments. 2010.
Yeah, but they played basically like this, where Maicon was their biggest attacking threat, and he was the right back in a low block, which is why I'm expecting stuff from Delo or Shaw. But with transitions hitting on the break, the first thing is not pace, it's quality. It's getting the ball forward before the counter press gets you. City's counter press is incredible. I think Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno. We've definitely seen it from Bruno, and we've definitely seen it from Eriksen against City. Right? They had the quality against City to get the ball through to Rashford, and they did it against Arsenal as well.
Yeah,
Casemiro, we haven't seen it against the top teams, but we have seen it against Everton's. We know Casemiro's got a great range of passing, and like he knows what type of passes to play. If you think about that Ronaldo goal against Everton, it was a beautiful pass from Casemiro after a pretty stunning error. I think that we do have the quality, the pace. Rashford's got elite pace. The problem is that Kyle Walker has elite pace, and Akanji, Ake, and Stones are fast enough to deal with Rashford. So So it's the quality is the important thing, and we can't do anything. We can't do anything about the quality in our team. It is what it is. I think that is the best way to beat City, is to just be disciplined and then go on transitions. We're still the best transition team in Europe, in my opinion. No one's better than us, like springing counter attacks, and I think that's because we do have pace and quality. So I'm sorry, Kehinde, I've rejected it.
But we do have pace and quality. But you're taking those pace and quality guys out, whether it's Sancho, whether it's Garnacho. We haven't got Martial. I think he was trying to say is having McTominay and Fred. That you're lacking something there. I mean,
look, all we need to do in these situations is just get people running with the ball. McTominay is the best ball carrier of our midfielders. We don't have anyone who carries the ball properly except for McTominay. Bruno's not a good ball carrier. Casemiro gets pinched non-stop. Fred falls over the bloody ball. Like Eriksen just doesn't have the power. So with McTominay, I'm less worried about pace and quality because he's got the strength, the power, the technique in order to cause problems. Fred, I agree, there's a quality issue there, but Fred scores goals, and Fred's got vision. Like if you get Fred in the half space, he's all right. He's not as bad as people make out. It's just his shooting is bloody ridiculous. But he'll take the shot on. Yeah. Anthony, Sancho, I honestly think if you put Fred and McTominay as our wingers, like left wing and right wing, they'd have more assists than Sancho and Anthony do this season. And we'd have scored more goals.
Two more comments flying in as we speak. Zico again, Kinde saying, I'm saying Dalot and Anthony not good enough playing against City. We lost 6-3 when those two started together against City. He also goes on to say,
that's true, yeah.
Wan-Bissaka better suited for Man City, just like Fred is over Eriksen for this game. So he would play Fred over Eriksen in this game. Not saying they are better players, just for this game, though. The way So
I still think you're wrong, Kehinde, because with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I mean, Jack Grealish is not someone who knocks it past you, uses pace. Jack Grealish unbalances you. He's amazing. He knows his distances. He sucks you in, and then he passes or he goes past. All of the things that Grealish does to beat his defenders, I don't think that Wan-Bissaka's suited to dealing with those. Like, Wan-Bissaka is more about 1v1 duels, whereas Grealish is foot on the ball and just stand there. And then he'll take it away from you, or he'll pass it to someone else. And he's strong as well, Grealish. I think Dalot is going to be better for that. And yeah, you're completely correct about Dalot and Anthony against City 6-3. But I feel that was more Anthony's fault. Because he was cheating. And Anthony was cheating in that game. We did 2 hours on it on this channel. Dalot did all right. And also, I think that one thing I really like about Dalot is you will find him a lot of the time when players take shots. You'll find him on the goal line. Against Liverpool, I saw one the other day. He's one of the hardest working players at the club. Goes unnoticed.
What do you think about his new contract? Do you think that's deserved? Based on you
Yeah,
just said he's the hardest player, one of the hardest players. He's got
absolutely. I don't want him in the first team next season. I want him as a squad player because I think that we need more quality. But I think that if we have players like him and Ericsson who can come in for 30 games, 25 games over a 50, 60 game season, absolutely delighted with it. Whereas not so much with Wan-Bissaka, to be honest.
Bart, I want to ask you. So, what about set pieces? Would we be sort of try and exploit them at set pieces? We
Yeah.
don't do much of the ball. I mean, we don't really score many set pieces, do we, at Man United? There's a period of time we didn't score from a corner for so long. But would you be working on the set pieces throughout this week as a manager to say, right, we get in this position, we need to make this count?
Absolute 1,000,000,000%. This is one of the reasons why I want Ericsson on the pitch, because I think that Shaw's our best left-footed set-piece taker.
Yeah.
Not much competition with Fred and Anthony, to be honest. And I think Ericsson is our best set-piece taker from the right-footers. Like, Bruno does have that weird thing where he sort of, I don't know if you remember, where he like improvised a chip once for Martial to score against Man City from a free kick. He was standing over the wall and he just flipped it over the wall and Martial ran onto it. Like, yeah.
All right, I can't recall that, but yeah, that's good. Want to see things like
that. The thing is that this is also a reason why I'd like McTominay in the team, is that Casemiro is our big threat from set pieces, as demonstrated in the final against Newcastle, against whoever it was the other day. Was it Chelsea he scored?
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe it was Chelsea. Brilliant. Yeah, getting up. With
yeah.
The head. Like, I know. With the overhead sort of flip kick. But there's another one where he got a header. I think they tried to dispute it was offside, but it was a free
I think
kick.
it was Chelsea. Yeah.
It was Chelsea. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is they're going to be on the lookout for Casemiro at set pieces. So having McTominay in there is another powerful attacker of the ball. I think will be great. And I really hope that part of my plan with Martial was just him getting free kicks, because he's our best player at getting free kicks, Martial. Like, getting his bum into people, taking the contact, relieves a huge amount of pressure. We also presumably are going to be going long from De Gea. I can't imagine that we're going to be playing out of the back too much.
Yeah.
So I think, set pieces will be absolutely crucial, because this is a final, and literally, if we get an early goal, we've done this hundreds of times. We can defend against City for 80 minutes. Like, Solskjaer teams used to do this all the time. I mean, McTominay scored a 40-yarder against City. We've got a chance, and you're completely correct. Is that set pieces is probably going to be one of our best routes to goal. So we need to win them, and then we need quality. Yeah. And that's kind of why I want Ericsson and McTominay in the starting lineup, because I feel it boosts it up.
One thing I would say is that last couple of games since Man City have won the league, their results haven't been fantastic. Maybe they've definitely rotated players, brought a few players in. I didn't see the game when they lost to Brentford recently.
They did the double over them.
Wow, there you go. But I would like to have seen that before this game, to have more insight and say, what are Brentford doing so well? Just neutralise them, because they didn't score. Man City didn't score. It was a 0-0, I think, was it? They lost by. So Brentford has clearly done their homework.
I remember the game at the Etihad where Brentford beat them, and they came from like transition goals using Brentford's rest attack, where Mbueno was the wide player, and he did similar things that he did to Shaw when we played against them, of just being too fast and too strong. And their other goal came from a set piece where David Raya took a free kick on his own halfway line, and it got knocked across the box, and someone got, it might have been Tony actually, got it at the back post. And I would love to be seeing stuff like that, like loading the box at free kicks, driving it in, and really putting it into the mixer. But the other advantage that we might have is that this is the biggest game for Manchester United in a decade for me. Like, I think it's more important than Europa Cup finals, because it's about stopping the treble.
Yep.
This isn't City's most important game this week, like, or in this month rather.
Yeah.
Like, they will want to win the European Cup above all. They'll get into it. It's not going to be an easy game, but there is a possibility that we might see Alvarez instead of Haaland. You never know with Pep.
Yeah,
He's played a European Cup final without Rodri. Like,
that's true. Against Chelsea, yeah, that's right. That backfired in a way.
we never, you never really know with Pep because he does. It's a bit like Fergie. He does crazy stuff before finals. So I'm feeling a bit more confident because I understand how we can beat City, but I have a big worry that Eith's team is going to have Weghorst, Anthony, and Fred in it.
Whew, we can't pick it. Zico saying, look back at the team that beat City 2-1. Wan-Bissaka and Fred started, and Bruno played on the right of the midfield. Jeff saying here, he repeats by saying, we take our chances. This could be an exciting game. Well, certainly. Have guys in the comments, have we given you hope that we can win this game? I do agree. I think, looking at we have to stop them. I do think it's right by half time. I'm impressed by your tactics there to stop them and stop them playing through us. That's the most important thing. We accept we might not have the ball too much, but with set pieces, with transitions, which we're good at, like you said, then there is opportunities for us, and we will get opportunities. We do create chances in most games, and like Jeff is saying here, if we take our chances, it could be an exciting game. I am looking forward to the build-up. I know Rashford's done an interview with Gary Lineker. I think Rashford, you've got to have clutch players in your team. And I think, like you said, this is the biggest game for a decade. So I think players like Rashford, players like Casemiro, Eriksen, these are sort of players that could really be going out there and mentally have the strength to sort of come and think about, I can be a match winner here. Yeah, Varane. These guys can be special on the day.
Rashford owes us. Rashford owes us big time for that European final against, was it Villarreal?
Yeah.
I still can't get over that game. Like what the performance Rashford produced in that game. He
didn't have any instruction, I don't think. He was running. They were so compact, weren't they? Villarreal. He just didn't have any space or anything to do, or no sort of direction. It seemed to me from the management.
Him and Pogba, they played like they gave up in that match, and it's for a big McTominay fan, it's very annoying that McTominay was man of the match in that match and we lost it. But I'm really this is the turning point for Rashford with me. If he can go out and produce a performance, and he doesn't have to score a hat trick, just use the ball well, work hard, make sensible decisions, fight, then I'll take it all back on Rashford. If De Gea saves a penalty, knocks one in the last minute to equalise or something, I'll take it all back. Every United player has got the ability to sort of erase 10 years of mediocrity against City and live on in legends. They can be legends on Monday this time next week. And they got to take it. They got to go out there. They got to grab it and fight for it. Brad Pitt in Troy.
Like Robin Williams in what's this film? Seize the
Jumanji.
Day.
Oh, Good Will Hunt. No, Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society. Yeah, to seize the day. Jeff's saying here, I think we can win. We cannot let them play through the middle, as we were saying earlier. Like we are not there, and defend set pieces like our lives depend on it. Just so, can we just go through some bullet points of what you've said today, Bath Time, about what are the key factors that win the game? The bullet point. Let's just summarize.
All right, my bullet points is that we are going to play a mid-block 4-4-2 with very little pressing beyond the first 10 minutes of each half. That's my thing. Pep is going to play a 3-2 rest defence of, I think, Ake, Walker and Stones.
Ake's injured, no?
Okay, then Akanji. I don't know who's there. Is Gundogan injured?
I don't think so.
I think Gundogan and Rodri will be the pivots then.
Right.
We have got to protect Zone 14 above all. That is our child, and we die for that area. Like, and zone 14 is basically the center of the pitch. Like, we've got to have more people in the center of the pitch than City do. We've got to keep our lines compact. That means very little space between the defence, the midfield, and the attack to stop these little goblins getting in between there. I think that for our sort of special tactics, I think that Rodri will almost be man-marked by Rashford when in their build-up. I think that their pivots will basically be man-marked. I think that Lindelof is going to man-mark Haaland going forwards. Like, so when Haaland has back to his goal, I think that Lindy will man-mark him. But when they're in possession with the whole pitch in front of them, we'll use a zonal system, which will be good. I think that our fullback, which I'm going to say is Delo, but it could be Shaw, is going to be a secret weapon. And I think that we're going to have runners in the interior positions, which is just off the centre, so not the wings, with Fred and McTominay.
Brilliant.
Actually, I don't think that. That's what I would do. I think that Heath is going to play Anthony.
But you've justified why you think that would be effective.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So you're right saying something, but you've actually illustrated why you think that would be effective, and what you go along with that. You made some really, really good points, and it does give me a lot of encouragement to say that. First, like I said, first thing to stop them from playing where they can open us up. It was great at the start of the show. You might have missed it, guys, but Bath Time put up an illustration of where most goals were scored, and it'd be great if we could have that up again, and just remind us where Zone 14 is, why we have to protect the centre of the park. But
that's
most goals,
14.
Yeah. Most goals are not scored by crosses; they're scored by cutbacks and scored.
I've lost it.
Through balls.
I closed it, unfortunately.
Oh, never mind. So we can just you can just explain it where most goals are scored and why we need to protect these areas.
Okay, so most crosses into the box, you need is 14% across the top 5 leagues. So that means that you need to put basically 10 crosses in from the byline in order to guarantee yourself a goal.
Yep.
Cutbacks, which
City are brilliant at.
which City are brilliant at, result in 25% conversion rate, which means that you need 4 of those to guarantee yourself a goal across the top 5 leagues. A cutback, you all know what a cutback is, but it's where the ball is pulled across the ground in between the midfield and the defensive lines for someone to come and tap it in. It's, all the best goals are cutbacks. And then the most effective goal is the through ball from zone 14, which results in a goal 1 out of 3 times, 33%. So that's where Bruno is so good at just slotting the ball in between. Is where basically you slot the ball in between the defensive line and your striker runs on one-on-one finishes. So that is why an example.
Fred the other day for Bruno.
Yeah, perfect. That's it. That's exactly it. And even Martial scored a goal the other day where Bruno put the ball through to Anthony and Anthony just passed it across.
Oh yeah.
But that was basically from a through ball from that area. Okay. So that is why zone 14, you have to have that congested with more people in it, and with the cutbacks, you need your pivots like McTominay, Casemiro, and Fred to be blocking that near post zone. Mm-hmm. And Eriksen isn't particularly good at that, which concerns me.
Question. I remember at the start of the season, we saw it in training drills as well, and then we've gone on to when we're doing the shows, the crosses from the half space. I don't see that much of happening anymore. Do you see that happening? And if not, why it's not happening so much?
Well, it is happening from Anthony when he plays.
Right.
It's just sometimes it's difficult to work out if it's a shot or a cross. It's normally a shot. Sancho, who literally in one half of football could have got more assists than Anthony has all season, is doing cutbacks on the right hand side when he's played.
Yeah.
So whilst we have someone in the half space, which is Wan-Bissaka or Delo, they're combining to release. They're using third man runs basically to release Sancho to get the ball across, and Rashford isn't a half space player.
Okay.
Like Rashford is more of a direct player, but what you will often see is you will see Bruno in that half space when Rashford is out wide, and Bruno will try and cross or he'll try and shoot, but normally he reverses it to Martial or to Rashford. I think that as we're getting to the end of the season and we're on fumes, they're just sort of like resorting to what they know rather than like the coaching that they had in pre-season.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't expect to see any exploitation of the half spaces against City, because I wouldn't really expect us to get more than two periods of possession where we get ourselves up the pitch and camp in their half. I wouldn't. I think 2 or 3 times we might see that in the match.
Okay. We had a few team selections in the comments today. They were vastly different, weren't they? All 3 of you, Zico and Jeff, put out teams, and you as well, Bath Time, and they're all different. So it's a lottery at the moment. I've got
What's
no
your
idea.
team?
My team, look, I've changed my mind now after seeing that. I do think Fred might pay. I'm going to say my team. Forget about the manager to win against City. I think Lindelof over Maguire. I have to say that. I think because of confidence and you put him on the big stage might not be a good idea. And he's been playing a lot of games.
Maguire's for a possession team as well. We're not going to have possession.
I would play Wan-Bissaka. The reason why I play Wan-Bissaka is because I know Dalot's got signed a new contract, but I just think on recent form, he's not going to let you down so much. I think he's proved to be a great defender. He's been proved to be better going forward than he has been. And you don't see much from his facial expression, but he must be delighted inside that he's turned it around and won over the fans again. And I think he'll be gutted. I think it really would be gutted if he doesn't start, if he's not on the team sheet. I think he would play. Midfield, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, and I would go... Sorry, so we start again. I would go midfield... all right, sorry. Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno. I'd play Sancho. I think Sancho has to play. And Rashford up top. And maybe Weghorst... All right, sorry, start again. Casemiro, Eriksen, Fred, Bruno, Sancho, Rashford. That's it. So you got me now. Rashford up top, Bruno on the right, Sancho on the left. You got Fred, Eriksen, and Bruno and Casemiro in the midfield, or in that sort of thing, and a bit of rotation there.
I agree.
You on my mind with, but I would play Sancho. Sancho has to play. He retains the ball so well. I think. Imagine if Sancho delivers. He scored the other day. His confidence. Yeah. I think if he delivers against his former side as well, when Pep was happy to let him go, he'd be up for it, and that would sort of change people's minds about how terrible he's been this season apparently, and how poor he's been. There's a lot of retribution out there for players, and I think that's something you have to consider when picking players, as in Wan-Bissaka, as in Sancho. These guys, I think, can do something. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you delivered again, bro. With your tactical analysis. I'm really impressed by that. I think that is the right way, keeping the pitch narrow, blocking that zone 14, stopping them from playing through us. I think that is the right way to give us a chance. And from there, it's just got to be something special on the day. I'm really looking forward to this game now.
I'm excited, but excited, nervous. I think the ETH team won't be too dissimilar to yours. I think that if Anthony is fit, he takes Sancho's place.
Yeah.
But I actually think that your team is probably the team that will start. I think it's the wrong team. I would much prefer to be bringing in Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho on than Fred, McTominay and Delo.
Right.
Like, I think we stay in the game. Like, just the game doesn't start until the 75th minute in knockout tournaments. You just don't make any mistakes to the 75th minute, and then put players on when the game is stretched. Like, a proper Jose performance. And I'd love to know what the score was for Seville. Seville have won the Europa Cup on penalties again.
Yeah.
They can't keep getting away with this.
They own that tournament. Just give it to them, like Real Madrid.
Oh, big up Sevilla.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Poor old Jose.
Yeah. It would have been fantastic. Roma haven't won a trophy, European
since
trophy.
Last year. They won the Conference League last year,
God.
didn't they?
So there I go. I was going way back, yeah. All right, since last year. But well done, well done to Sevilla. Obviously, they're the team that knocked us out. But there you go, tactical. And it was right. If it's dragged on to a penalty shootout, do you think it could go to penalties at Wembley? Do you think that is?
Yes.
Got to possibly, okay.
Yeah, it could do, because like you've got to remember, like as much as City are this free flowing team and all this kind of stuff, it's a derby. They're going to be tense, and no one wants. First thing in any football match, especially a final, is don't lose it.
Yeah.
Like stay in the game, don't lose it. Don't take silly chances. Just kick the ball out if you're under pressure, and we'll defend as a team the throw in or whatever. Like City, like Pep at the beginning. I don't know if anyone remembers this because it was amazing. But Pep called out his fans and his players around Christmas time, or just after, for like just not knowing anything about football, having no characters in the team. Like,
I remember.
You remember that? Now they're on the verge of a bloody treble. But De Bruyne isn't a good character in big games. Like all those players are unproven. They're league players. Right, they'll get you across the line.
I'm touching wood right now because you just said something that could backfire. But yeah,
it could backfire. But De Bruyne hasn't done anything in cup football really. Like, I mean, Jorginho has a European Cup and a Euros. Like De Bruyne doesn't. Like Haaland doesn't have like this is a big game, and it can get to them.
Well, De Bruyne stepped up in the semi-final against Madrid. He scored a fantastic goal at Madrid. That was the first time I've said, yeah, okay, you're starting to prove, you're clutch, Mr. Clutch now. And obviously he's been in semi-finals of World Cups and failed to deliver. But it's
problem is that we've got the same as well. We've got players that have bottled finals and have never really got us across the line. But I'm hoping Casemiro and Varane that experience get us across the line. I don't care how we do it. 1-0, like awful goal. I don't care. Just get us across the line. That's all we want.
And just finally, for me, to you, Bath Time, how much of an achievement would it be based on where City are at and where we're at if he did tactically outclass or get the win? How big? You said it was the game of the decade, but how really big would it be to beat City this coming Saturday?
I mean, it's right. Beating Newcastle in a Carabao Cup is fantastic.
Yeah.
Beating City in the FA Cup is historic.
Okay.
Like,
historic, great word. Yeah, I'll go with that.
It gives Heath like an extra year of poor results. It gives confidence to the players. It really marks the start of something. And I just hope that they don't get taken with glory, and that they understand that there's a job to be done, and then we can talk about the glory afterwards. But we're fans, so we dream. But this is the start of it being the theatre of dreams again. Because, boys, we're dreaming. We've got the Man City are the greatest football team in Europe. Like, they're one of the greatest teams of all time. But we can do them. We can do them on a break with bloody McFred. And we've done it before.
Yeah.
So I think historic and the start of something.
Yeah.
If we win.
I like that.
If we win.
Big if, but I mean, we've tried to deliver a show tonight saying how we can beat Man City. Whether we do it or not, it's down to the players, down to the manager, and down to the fans. Get behind them, guys, wherever you're watching it, even if you're not at the game. Just really get behind the team, and let's hope this is a historic day, as you say, Bath Time, and a special day as well for some of these players. It'll be massive for us and turn around a club. And like I say, I will go back to what I said at the start of the show. If we do win, and also get an announcement in the next few days or hours after the game or minutes after the game that we've got new ownership as well. That would be a boost what the club needs and the fan needs right now. So, come on, United! It's a special week, end of the season. It'd be a top off a great season for us. 2 domestic cups and top 4 or 3rd place as well in the league. Viva Ten Hag, as they say.
I've just remembered I've got to find the ending screen.
That's all right.
Here it is. All right, are we ending, yeah?
Yeah, just want to say appreciate Zico, Jeff, and MUFC Brummy Reds as well. He's just giving us an update. Also to Rebel, big up Rebel, and Vincent, and Adil is in the comments as well. HG Gamer, how you doing, man? Thanks for all you guys for tuning in. And let us know after the show what you think about how we can win and whether we will win as well, with a prediction maybe. But we'll be back. Yeah, obviously it's not Saturday tomorrow. It's Friday. It's Thursday tomorrow. And we'll be back Thursday and Friday to build up this game, this historic game. But on Monday, big up, man. And special thanks to Bath Time for sort of delivering with the illustrations and the tactical knowledge as well. We really do appreciate you.
You're very welcome. And if anyone is watching later, stick your line up in the comments and we'll have a look at it. But thank you for spending time with us and enjoy the rest of your night.